Hi, I'm Carolyn, and I have spent like the last hour or so on YouTube looking up people's Disney College Program acceptance videos or information vlogs, and I found a lot of them to be pretty helpful, but I kind of wished some included certain pieces of information or stressed certain things, and so I thought for whoever is going to watch this, if anyone, I would go ahead and just share some of my experiences in the application process. I first applied October 28th. I had gone down on the 27th to Orlando to attend a open face call with my friend Melanie. Those of you who know her, she is on Tumblr as the Disney Hipster. And we went down, and they were only looking for Pocahontas's, Mulan's, Jasmine's, and Silver Mist's. And as you can see, I don't look like any of those. So Melanie told me, it's not too late to apply for the Disney College Program. You won't be able to be a character performer because those auditions have already passed, but, you could still work there in any other roles that they have. So I went home and went ahead and filled out my application. The first preliminary application is a pretty basic one. Make sure you have your social security number, and you go in there, you have to create an account, and then you fill out, your name, your address, your previous work experience. Then they tell you that it'll probably be about 5 business days before they can get back to you and see if you've passed that round. In that first preliminary application, you fill out your role interests, and apparently this is different than it used to be in the past. They have all the lists of roles, and you put low interest, moderate interest, high interest, or no interest. And apparently this is different because they used to make everybody go all the way to the phone interview and then ask them their role choice. Here they let you specify, and then if they don't have any of those roles available, it just tells you right away, sorry, you can't be accepted, we don't have any of these roles available for you. So I put no interest on a lot of things, but what my interviewer told me is that if you put no interest on there, they cannot consider you at all for that. So if there is something that you feel like, oh, I don't really want to do it, but I can suck it up, go ahead and put low interest, because they cannot look at you at all if you say no interest, and it severely lowers your chances of getting in. With that being said, if there is something that you just know that you will be miserable at and you don't want to do it, then keep it at no interest. I mean, if your goal is to intern at Walt Disney regardless, absolutely keep all your options open. But if you really do think you'll be miserable doing a certain job, then don't put it. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos of people complaining about their Disney College Program experience, and a lot of it has to do with the job. And I have trouble sympathizing simply because you're choosing the roles. And so I feel like to get the most out of your experience, make sure it's a role that you really could see yourself doing. After that, they say, give us about 5 business days to get back to you and review your application. I heard back probably within about 6 hours. So I heard back very, very quickly. They told me I was able to take the web-based interview. I went ahead and took the web-based interview that next day on the 29th, and it was a lot different than I expected. It's just strongly agree, strongly disagree, neutral, that kind of thing. I put a few neutrals. They're there for a reason, but just try not to ride the middle too much, because then I think they really want to see your opinions and where you really stand on certain things. So just make sure that you're really honest. It is timed, so make sure you don't have any distractions, and that you're just really being honest. They really, do want to know who you are. They said probably about 2 to 3 business days or something like that, but I heard back within probably 10 minutes that I was accepted to take the phone interview. The phone interview apparently is also different than it used to be, whereas now they let you choose your time slot, and they have a lot more options. They told me the day that I had to do it. I had to do it Tuesday, which was yesterday, and you put in your time zone, and then they give you a whole bunch of different time slots that you can choose from, and I chose 8:15 in the morning, which is an obscene hour, but I had class, and there's a film festival going on right now, so I needed to get up early, and my interviewer started out kind of like bored, like you could tell. I mean, she does this for a living and she's just reading off a sheet of paper. But as it went on and as she could tell that this was important to me and that I was energetic about it, she really warmed up and started talking to me about her life and. So it was a really pretty fun experience. The first question they ask you, of course, is why do you want to work at Disney? What's your interest in the Disney College Program? Then they ask you things like, are you okay with working outside? How are you with multitasking? Have you lived away from home? Have you lived with roommates? Pretty straightforward stuff. They're not trying to trick you on anything. They do then ask you about your roles, and they have you give them your top 3. And then they do try to get you to add some roles to your list based upon the availability that they have. And I ended up adding another role to my list. My interviewer was really straightforward with me and just told me that a lot of the things that I chose, character performers out because I didn't apply in time to meet the auditions. But I said my second was character attendant, followed by attractions. And then I also put Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique hostess, merchandise, and costuming. And she told me just with character attendant and Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique hostess, they do not take many at all. And she's like, with you saying no interest in a lot, it severely limits, your chances. So is there anything that we could add? She's like, with your personality and you just wanting to really work with the guests, I would suggest main gate operations, which is like taking tickets. And she said, you're their introduction to the park. You're the first person they see when they come to Disney. So I told her, to add that to mine as a low interest, but definitely something I could do. The other one she suggested was like monorail driver and like tram, like parking tram guy. And I was like, I don't know about that. But I was just really, really honest. One thing I would suggest, actually 2 things I would suggest for your interview. Number 1, you need to read the website and brush up on the Disney look and a lot of the other stuff that they have, the wages, because they ask you, have you looked at the Disney look on the website? Are you okay with that? What do you think about that? So they do kind of check if you've read the website, so I'm really glad I did that. So it takes like 10 minutes, go on there, look at everything. And also really go back and look at the roles, because I went back and realized that costuming, though it kind of pertains to my major, it's not something I would have a big interest in simply because they don't interact with guests. The cast members are your guests, and I feel like that's my strong point is handling the guests. So I asked her if I could switch that to a low interest, and she was fine with it. But make sure you know, because this is the time to switch anything before things kind of get set in stone. The interview went really well. They said they're supposed to last anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes, and mine was only 15, about maybe 15, 20, something like that. So it was a little shorter than expected. She said that I answered all the questions, and she said that I'll probably hear back no more than 2 weeks, but probably a little bit less. So, yeah, I'm just waiting to hear back now, and I'm really excited. I've loved watching everybody's videos on here, but there were a couple things that I wish people had told me maybe about the time frames and certain things that the interviewers asked, kind of things like that, pretty common sense. Also, one thing my interviewer did kind of stress to me, I applied for spring quarter advantage, and she wanted to clarify that my school is on the quarter system, because a lot of people just see spring quarter advantage, they don't know what that means, and they see, oh, March through August, that seems like a good time for me to go. That's not what that's for. That's if your school is on the quarter system. If you don't know what that means, then chances are your school is not on the quarter system. So that's for people who are on a different schedule. So if you don't know what that is, just answering this question, she said that happens a lot. But not really sure what's going to happen. I'm excited to hear back. I don't know how long it'll be, since they've always given me a big time frame and then gotten back to me really soon. So kind of hoping it'll be soon, but I'll let you guys know as soon as I hear something.